Item 5, second roll call, start of regular meeting in open session. A motion, we need a motion for that, don't we?
No.
No, you just take a
Okay,
minute.
all right, Brennan,
Here.
Trammell,
Here.
Vandevine,
Here.
Vananek,
Here.
Waldo here, Wetzel
Here.
and Schmidt here, and Kurt Minton, fire chief, is also here. Would you please stand and join me in the pledge of allegiance? I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, item 7, approve the agenda.
Move to approve agenda as printed.
Okay, motion by Trammell,
Second, Randy V.
second by Randy Vanak. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carried unanimously. Item 8, public comments upon matters not on the agenda and other announcements. Hearing none, we'll move on to item 9. Consideration of minutes from July 10, 2017 meeting.
Move to approve the minutes of July 10th, 2017 meeting.
Motion by Van Dyke. Second by Brennan. Any discussion? Okay, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried unanimously. Item 10, consideration of payment of due invoices and wages.
Move to approve the payments of due invoices and wages.
Motion by Van Dyke to approve.
Second.
Second by Tremmell. Any questions?
I had one in here, but.
None? Okay. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carried unanimously. Item 11, consideration of operator's license for a period of July 1, 2017 to June 30, 2018. I think the only correction there was Linston's, right? Okay, so thanks for catching that. Any questions there, or otherwise I'll entertain a motion.
Also move.
Motion by Van Dyke,
Second.
second by Trammell. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried unanimously. Item 12, consideration of purchasing surplus property policy. Patrick?
So we held, you had the surplus property aspect, I think it's Article 13 of the purchasing policy, which talked about at the last meeting, and then held that. One of the things that I wanted to just put back up there is the one item that we had changed is that there was question on item D, which was, in the past, it was that one of the authorized methods to sell or dispose of property was by a negotiated sale. It was talked about at the last meeting that you would prefer that a negotiated sale / that the property was traded in would be more appropriate. And on top of that, I think in general, the board had asked to review this for this next meeting. Now, this is Article 13 of the town's purchasing policy. I will tell you that I have been working on reviewing the remainder of the purchasing policy, but I'm at a point where this document was approved in 2010, which is before you move to the organizational structure that we have today. And the purchasing policy at certain levels of, up to $3,000, if it's budgeted, you get 3 quotes, you could just buy it. If it's not budgeted, or if it's over $3,000, you have to bring it to the town board with quotes. So that body and the intent of that policy is not something that I think we really need to change a lot of. But what I think we do need to be reviewing is the organizational structure and how it relates to who is authorized to be making purchases. With that, one of the items that I do want to look at is job descriptions, because all of the job descriptions had been updated about 1.5 years ago. Mine was updated before you advertised for my job, and there's some conflicting language in the purchasing policy and in some of the job descriptions that I think we should be talking about and working through. And because of that, I don't know that I'm prepared to say that anything should change with the purchasing policy so much, the rest of it, because I said structurally I think it's okay. What I would maybe leave it at is if the board and seek some feedback on the surplus property policy to see if you have any thoughts additionally, on reviewing this, got any thoughts or questions or anything on it?
Okay. Any thoughts from the board?
So you just want to hold on to this whole thing then?
Changing the purchasing policy tonight.
You could, so that,
The only thing that I noticed.
Say, why don't we hold on to the whole thing until he
he
does the,
So I think, yeah, you gotta do plans.
Kenny, I don't know if you and Kevin heard what Randy was saying. He said, why don't we just, unless we got something to give him right now, why don't we hold on to
There's
the
no
thoughts
rush on
until he
this.
gets everything wrapped up and bring it back?
the one comment I would make is that I don't know that the town is prepared to dispose of anything now, and especially not before we get a property disposal policy hammered out. So, in general, this is what we're looking at. If you'd rather hold it for the whole purchasing policy, we can. Just know that on our end, I don't know that we're authorizing anybody to sell anything or dispose of anything at any time.
That's fine. I
Okay.
agree.
Yeah, that's fine. It's fine with me. I don't have a problem with that.
So table it?
Just table it and not take any
Want a
action.
motion
Not
to do
take
that?
any-
No,
Just don't take any action.
Okay.
Okay? Everybody good with that? All right, item 13, consideration of closed session, item 3, which I'll read again, is closed pursuant, what we did was a consideration, deliberation of negotiation of purchase of public properties, investment of public lands, or conduct of other specific public business whenever competitive or bargaining reasons require a closed session. In this case, it was negotiation of purchase of town park development lands developed with intermunicipal utilities and service agreement. So we need a motion.
I'll make a motion to authorize the town administrator and our attorney's firm to draft and proceed with an offer to purchase on the two properties discussed.
Competitive.
Yeah, we can just leave it
I'll
right
count it.
there.
If you get a second, I'll add
I'll
it.
second.
Second by Van Dyke. Any other comments?
No, so what we have is, in general, we're looking at drafting and presenting an offer to purchase to two entities for some land. One of the contingencies will be that the town board approves of a resolution authorizing a sale or purchase of this land. So it will still come back to the resolution form, but for competitive bargaining reasons, the negotiating guidelines have been established to work within. To start with, I should say.
Everybody okay with that?
Yes.
Okay, we don't need roll call on that, but no. Just no. Okay, all in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried unanimously. Thank you. Item 14, consideration of adopting resolution 17-008 to authorize banking, financial institutions, and authorize account signers. Patrick.
You have an updated resolution on my end. We've been reviewing for what we thought we could get in free legal advice on updating the authorized institutions for banking and the authorized signers. And we did end up calling Davis and Cuthall for a quick comment. And what I will tell you is that this is a resolution that we had approved to authorize our banks that are out there. The bank we had been using has now become Investors Community Bank. The bank that the fire department accounts have been using is Community First. And a bank that we anticipate that the fire department accounts will be moving to is Denmark State Bank. This is a resolution that would then authorize any accounts that are affiliated with the town or under the town's tax ID to be placed into these banking institutions. So your approval on one end of this resolution is to authorize those institutions. The other end of the approval relates to state law that says the clerk and the treasurer are supposed to sign all checks, drafts and orders, but essentially all payments. And the town chair would be required to sign, but you do have the ability to waive the countersign requirement, which the town chair is actually countersigning these documents. You can waive that requirement, which as you read this resolution, you'll see election to waive countersigning requirement. Town chairperson shall not be required to countersign all drafts, order checks, and transfer orders so long as those documents are executed as authorized by this resolution. The next item then requires that countersigning happens so that more than just one person is actually signing our checks, which, to be fair, we had a list of 4 officials and we needed 2 of them to sign in the past. So it was the town chair, the administrator, finance director, and the clerk treasurer. In reality, that's 3 people. So 2 out of those 3 had to sign before, but the state law says that the clerk treasurer and the chair need to sign unless you specifically authorize someone else to. That's what this waiving of the countersigning and then establishing a countersigning then does. And what it says here essentially is that the chair is not required to countersign all drafts, but in the chair's absence or if they're unavailable, the town administrator can sign. And in the finance director, clerk treasurer's absence or unavailability, the other 2 could sign. And so what we have here, language then that authorizes that to happen where 2 out of those 3 do need to sign, and it adheres to state law. One of the I guess, options you have here, which I did talk to the chair about, is that technically the chair is required to sign everything and the clerk treasurer is required to sign everything. So you could meet the law by approving that, but for ease and efficiency, I think having 2 out of the 3 so that you're always having 2 people to be able to sign, I think is a lot more efficient and will work for me in that and for the town.
So it does require 2 signatures?
Yes.
Yes. Yeah, and this resolution would require countersigning. Then it lays out authorized signatories. So in addition to the finance director, clerk treasurer, the town chair, the town administrator are authorized to execute. And then there's also a note on here that requires that once this resolution is passed, that certified copies would be sent then to each of these institutions so that those institutions then are aware of who's allowed to sign.
What are the requirements for direct deposit?
On direct deposit, they treat that as a order or a transfer type order. So you're transferring money from one account to another account. So what you're saying here is that there's a signature
There's still 2 signatures on that?
component, yes, or a report that indicates them. I mean, you don't have a paper document so much when you have direct deposit and we send email remittances, but in general, if you have a report that's signed, that would meet the same requirement.
Good man.
Any questions on that resolution?
Did the auditor review this, or is that necessary?
I can tell you that the town attorney reviewed this, but in general, this meets the intent of what the resolution was that we had. It just didn't specify that we were waiving the requirement of the chair to then reauthorize the chair to sign.
We're trying to follow the intent of the statute too, so it's there.
Well, that's why I asked about everyone.
Well,
One signature.
really?
That's what computer side.
Any questions on that?
Works for me. I move to approve 17008, authorization for banking financial institutions and authorized account signers.
I'll second.
Motion by Trumbull, second by Van Eyck. Any other discussion? All in favor, signify by saying aye.
You want a roll call vote?
Oh, roll call on this,
On
okay.
resolutions, yeah.
Okay,
And this
that's
resolution
right.
calls
I'm
for
sorry.
a roll call vote.
That's right. Greenan.
Aye.
Trumbull.
Aye.
Van Dyke.
Aye.
Van Eyck.
Aye.
Devaldo. Aye. Motion carried unanimous. Okay,
Thank you.
thank you everybody who worked on that, appreciate it. Consideration of final pay request number 6 from Kushak Construction, amount $11,646.02 for the Hemlock Creek 3rd Edition and Wizard Way Extension.
Motion to approve the final pay request, Crucia Construction, $11,646.02.
Okay, motion by Brennan. Second by Van Dyke. Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Administrator report, Patrick.
We are working on some development plans, courting new potential businesses, one of which is Jason Birkin's development, the Impact Sports Academy, which will be opening up on Shearing Road across the street from Denmark State Bank. He's aiming for an August 1st opening, but on social media he's had the announcements out. I think he was on Channel 5 over the weekend too. And then more importantly, when he's been on the radio, he's been announcing that he's in the town of Lawrence, which we told him was a very important thing to be doing, so that helps.
Which the news didn't do.
The news did not do because they were looking at his mailing address as De Pere, so
We'll fix that.
he's been out and he knows that it's important to us that we talk about Lawrence. So he is opening up there, and that's an exciting thing. I think what we'll try to do is get, if he's got a ribbon cutting or something where we acknowledge this too. Have New Eye there too to record that. I think that'll be important. I appreciate the action you took on the resolution tonight. That's a good step in cleaning up our authorizations there and authorizing a new bank to be able to move the fire department funds. You will see an ordinance come out, a requested ordinance that lines up with the volunteer funds, the fire department checking account, to authorize that according to the state law. The state law is pretty clear, actually, surprisingly, on what's allowed with those funds. So that's something that I was able to meet with the fire department officers, and walk through the state law, and it's clearly clear to the point where they get it when they read it. So that's a good thing. The only other two things I have would be that we did accept applications for the part-time administrative assistant, which we're aiming to install and work with the building inspector, zoning administrator. We have interviews tomorrow afternoon. We had 5 finalists that we selected. One of them had requested to drop out because of a different opportunity, but we do have 4 pretty good candidates to interview tomorrow, hoping that we can make an offer here by the end of the week and get them on board. I said I had 2 comments, but I think we covered everything, so.
Okay.
That should be good, thank you.
All right. And if any of you saw last night on Fox 11, they had Jason on talking. He already hired a young lady who's going to be coordinating softball. She's the old Bayport coach, very outstanding person, I guess. And they were putting all the nets up on the ceiling, so they're getting ready to swing. So that's good. And quite honestly, a lot of people have caught me and said, boy, am I glad you got him. And he's coming to Lawrence and West here. Good for you guys. So I think that helps the whole process of building our character and dignity raised. Okay, item 17, Finance Director Report. Jennifer?
I just had included in the packet the complaint log from second quarter, so
I thought you was
I don't know if you had any questions on that.
What's the deal above ground pool and fence?
Which one?
Above ground pool?
Well, it says above ground pool with a fence. I thought, okay, if you got above ground pool, you got a fence, it sounds like it's legal. But the building inspector was on Benton Way.
I don't know, I'd have to check into it and kind of get back to you.
Planning and zoning is working on that policy right now, so are working on language to refer to us. So.
For the pool thing again?
Yeah,
Oh my God.
I know.
Was there anything
How
done
many
with
hours we
that?
got, how many days you gotta spend on this crap?
A private, a citizen wants to go, and he just doesn't understand why he's way out and can't do it. So, and I had somebody ask me the other day, up by Hemlock Creek, what does it take to put a pool? And I referred him to a building inspector he's working with, so I don't know.
Just a quick note as well, Scott had checked with me about being excused for tonight. He's at a funeral, so that's the note.
Oh, okay.
I feel it's appropriate. that he
Yeah,
said that,
no,
so.
no, thank you for bringing that.
I see that Lawrence Cemetery complained about that tree that's cracked. Was there anything done with that? Or I know it was cracked right last year for sure.
I contacted Dave Calloway, who usually takes care of a lot of stuff there, and also Dan Carpenter, who's on their board. He works for us, said something. It's their tree, it's tipping, it's gonna fall on some stones. That's only an unfortunate thing, But it is caught on another tree leaning into their property, and so, it's on the top of the ditch and on their property, so I mean,
They never did contact us anymore about.
No, they didn't.
Dan told the board that, they should come forward and talk to us.
They are trying to meet with me.
Okay.
They were gonna meet today, they had to reschedule.
In a situation like that where you got a public danger, and
I'm
some
saying
action,
just, well, just in, it could be, I mean, it's on private property though. So in general, about them contacting the town about working with the cemetery,
Yeah.
that they did reach out to and then they had rescheduled.
no, I'm good with that. No, my thought is I'm just worried that somebody's gonna be walking in there and the darn thing comes down. It's a public nuisance.
I'd like to have a board member in with you when they come.
Okay, that's fine. I don't have a date set at all, but that's fine.
'Cause they-
Kurt, if it looks like
She
she's
goes
gonna
a big
go
run
over
around
the skull or something.
Yeah, I was,
It looks
I
like
was
it's
trying to
ready
meet with
go.
them years ago and never got set up.
Yeah, they didn't call back.
Let it keep going. It's growing just fine.
I know. Better than us running.
No, I'm good with what you guys are saying. I'm just worried that the darn.
No,
branch is
I'm
gonna-
talking about the meeting.
Yeah, the
Look at
meeting's great. Let it go. But we got a public nuisance there.
They just,
It's just like an abandoned house that's in
Well, is
danger.
there something we can do about it?
That's what I'm asking.
Depends how much money they got in the coffer.
I think that's a lot of the problem.
Well, the other cemetery, the Salt Lawrence, they want to take that over too, but they didn't want to give up the money. That ain't happening.
No,
We'll, let's, because it's not on the agenda,
no, we
we'll take a look
can't.
at the complaint, but I would say, if we're gonna complain about a tree that's on private property, we can take a look into it.
Okay.
Something we can do, if it's in imminent danger, maybe there's something we can do, but it's private property.
If nothing else, just refer to them saying that we've had a complaint and it's a public danger. We're just concerned about it.
We'll take a note on it.
Yeah, okay.
Do we have porta potties at the park all the time?
Yeah, during the season.
Just
You mean at the new one we Shadow Ridge? Yeah, during the season.
There's two of them.
There's two of them there.
Plus, there's still that lost office.
Your computer came up?
There'll be none of that rain. Okay, anything else?
Well, I was just gonna ask on those complaints.
Yes.
Is it just fine? About 50% of them are usually garbage, or is that correct?
Mostly the
case.
trash cans.
Well, my
Okay.
neighbor,
Are they broke or not picked up, or is there
Both.
any pattern, or?
most of the trash cans are damaged because they're just old.
they're old.
at their age, they're starting to fail.
What are these people doing? Mine are in perfect
No,
condition.
it's the truck that's doing it.
The truck when it squeezes them.
It's hard.
Yeah, but I mean, I got the same container in the same truck and I don't have any
Yeah.
issues.
They smashed mine, I had to get a different one.
Yeah, they didn't mind. My neighbor called today, his recyclables didn't get picked up, but they did
I
come
think-
back and get
I think
them.
it's operator.
You might have the newer brand.
I think it's operator here.
Well, is there something we should ask them to replace it?
I think they have planned
They
replacement.
do.
Mine got a lot of miles on me.
But I mean, are
My
they doing
driveway's
a whole?
long.
I think
Oh,
so.
no, they're not gonna do that.
They're damaged.
That's the only way they're gonna do it. They're not gonna do a wholesale.
No.
Because I'm not jack of
But-
rates.
These new cans, I think, are a little better. I think they're a little more pliable than the other ones. The
Yes,
other
they
ones More brittle.
Yep, yes, they are. They want
Different
money.
material, softer.
Yeah.
My neighbor's laughing at me because
Okay.
I drag them in the car.
It gives the operator half a chance not to squeeze it. Too hard.
How you squeeze it. Okay, thanks for your report, Jennifer. Anything else? Okay. Future agenda items, we got the policy we want to bring back. Jennifer, what else?
That's all I got.
Okay.
We as Chief Bonnie come in one of these meetings.
Yep.
It's been a while.
Yeah, I agree. Just an update, little report.
Well, that leads to the meeting with Hobart. Well, this is
Oh,
supposed to be
yeah,
scheduled
we gotta
in
get
July.
that meeting set with Hobart on budget.
Ties to the same with.
We've passed, I've asked for dates from Hobart.
Oh, you have?
Have you gotten it?
Not yet.
Why don't we suggest a date, 2 dates still?
Why don't we tell them a date, yeah?
We'll suggest 2, they can pick one.
Patrick, did you see that police department schedule where the planned ramp up is for next year in funding?
Yes. Yep.
Well, that's what I want to know, if that's still on or not, or what the plan is with that.
Right.
Because it was said all along, we meet before budget, plenty of time ahead,
Right.
with them jointly, and I got a feeling that's falling
Margarita.
through, just like.
Yeah.
Quite honestly, Randy, it's gotta come in August.
That was 2 years ago, it fell
Has
after
to
the
now.
audit started.
It's
Last
not
year we
going
got
on.
the meeting to go
Next
over.
week is
Yeah.
August.
Yeah. I mean, we got
See, it's
6,
still in
5 weeks.
fall.
August is a 5-week month.
I'd say let's give them 2 dates in August and have them respond. Not we'll meet alone and pass it.
Works for me.
Okay.
We'll hold the meeting, we'll take the agenda.
Yep. Okay, item 19. Whole section pursuant to 9851C, considering employment, promotion, compensation, or performance evaluation data of any public employee over which the government body has jurisdiction or exercise responsibility. In this case, administrative review process. We'll need a roll call vote, but I need a motion. Motion by Greenan.
Second.
Second by Vandenack. Call the roll. Greenan. Aye. Tremmel.
Aye.
Vandy, aye.
Aye.
Vandenack.
Here.
Tavaldo, aye. Okay.